everyone who's actually already has joined in. You can pop by in the chat on the right side where you can introduce yourself. At least I know who's already in. Just come and say hello. I was hoping if we can start within 5 minutes because I have a lot of things to cover. Yep. So we're just gonna wait for another 5 minutes before we start. So everyone is still joining. So I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes. Okay. People are still joining in, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit more time to give people some time to get in. Okay, so I'm just gonna start. Basically, welcome to. I'm just gonna check if you can let me know if my voice is clear, if you're hearing me okay. So can you just pop by in the chat box and just tell me whether the sound is okay, the screen looks good, just to make sure everything is good. Let me see. Okay. All right. So I'll start. Uh, if some logistic before we proceed. So I want to make sure that the flow was smoothly when I present. So we're just gonna leave the questions at the end of the workshop because I have a lot to share. Um, you can actually, as as you have questions to ask me, you can just put in the chat box and I will just reply at the end of the session. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen. So, yep. Can you see my screen? I'm just gonna hold on. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. All right. Now, welcome to Perimenopause Makeover Workshop. I really wanted to do this workshop to actually to give you all this information because I feel that this really sets the framework um, about how we should actually approach health going forward, especially in our midlife. So we're definitely going to be talking about weight. We're going to talk about losing weight. I also want to touch base a little bit how we can actually unburden our nervous system and really how we can get our body into the state of healing. So my advice would be for you is don't get overwhelmed with the information. There's a lot I'm going to share. So that's why it's 1.5 hours. I might take a little bit more time. So I apologize in advance, but um, I'm gonna try my best to just complete it within the time frame. Okay, but really, my main goal with this workshop and everything that I do, and my passion is actually to help us to help midlife women to see health differently, because I feel that the rate that we are going about our health is actually not working, and it's really not helping our body in a lot of ways. And how we approach health at this point of time is making us more unhealthy. So today I'm going to show you why, and it has to do with some missing factors that I think kind of like important that is missing inside your body. For sure, our body is complex, and in order to change our body and support your body, are really actually coming back to basic things. And of course, we can get into things like, cellular designs, more specific structures, or we can talk about all these big words, mitochondria. But seriously, at the end of the days, um, the things that we really need to live our life, especially in midlife, are really the basic stuff. So that comes to that I want to urge you, every woman, to actually spend less time consuming a lot of information. It can be so overwhelming out there. But I want you to spend time more in creating health, because it's our job to take action and to live your life. So I'm gonna uh, because I'm gonna actually sorry, I'm gonna flip to one slide to another, but just bear with me a little bit. Yeah. So what we need to know about our body is this: our body are designed to heal, and it has every ability to do so. In fact, the only job that your body is supposed to do is actually to keep you well, to keep you healthy. And its first job is always about survival. So this is what I'm going to be talking about a lot today: survival. And it is always, the roots of your body is always want to be well. And you might feel it or you might not feel it, but your body is actually working every second, every day on your behalf to keep you well. Like I said, you might not feel like it, but it's doing its best with whatever resources it has. And I want to be clear with this, because there is a ton of disrespect in our health space now against our bodies, like your body or our body is like a problem, but that is not actually true at all. your body is always there for you, if you hate something about it, if you hate something that is happening inside your body and you feel annoyed by it, you can't seem to lose weight, you feel stressed all the time, and at the end of the day, right, it's really not your body's problem. It is just a response of your body based on the conditions of your body at that state. So really, if you want to change, we need to stop looking from the outside and start focusing what are the conditions of our body at this point of time. Like, what are the resources it has? So what tools do your body has to use it, and how much energy that is available, and um, does your body has all the things it needs, like nutrients, like calories, in order to do the job that it's supposed to do. So if it doesn't have all those things available, your body would compensate. And this is where, at this point of time, right, a lot of midlife women are actually living in a lot of compensation mode. So the conditions of, let's talk about the condition that I mentioned just now, right? The conditions of the body. So the conditions of our body is actually determined by a lot of things. Can be determined by your thoughts, can be determined by your mind, can be determined by the nutrients that you have available. So and also the food that you consume, even the moment, or the movement that you are having. And it's also determined by your social status, your relationship, your work life. It can also be determined by your soul, purpose, and your passion. But the most important thing, right, it is determined by how much energy you have and how safe is your body. It's literally, your body is always responding to everything, you know, everything around you influencing your body. How it's being influenced, all the conditions that is experiencing at this point would create an outcome. So, so this is the thing that I really want to talk to you. How, what is the most important things that we need to be paying attention at this time, which is, I would consider this is the root of all the things that are influencing your conditions, are the energy and safety. So it's two big players that your body is constantly evaluating and regulating at a micro level, and all aspect of your biology to make sure and to ensure your survival. Because to ensure your survival, that you're moving every single day, you get up in the morning to go and do your daily activities, is all based on the conditions of energy and safety. And we cannot omit the fact that the next layer of, to ensure your survival for us women, is actually for a survival of next generation, because our body, women's body, are designed for procreation, right? So these two key factors are really important. It's like to build, to grow, to expand, both actually for female and male, although male and female physiology are very different. But these two critical factors that we must maintain as a human being, not just to survive, but really in order to thrive in this world, is energy and safety. So once we start to actually understand these two things, it really gonna make sense why traditional approach that we've been using to approach health is not working. One, because generally how we approach health would actually makes the body deprived of energy, because there's a lot of restriction based on mindset, right? We're talking about calorie diets, calorie restrictions and stuff, and it also neglect our safety. So oftentimes, I have to say this, we are our own biggest threat, and we have to break up with this kind of mindset to actually started to heal. So getting back into like understanding to redefine health, I consider that as actually an old definitions. As we change and we want to change our view of health, we have to recognize that the old definition, that state health, is like state of being free of illness and injury. So basically an outcome, like like a destination that you want to go. But I don't think that is actually working, because there is no place in our human history that we will ever be free from illnesses or injury. It's like benefit and glory, that's to come. But in this world that we are living in, we are always aging. Our bodies is always breaking down and rebuild almost every single day. But it's not always a bad thing, but because we can actually use it for good, and we can recognize that health cannot be the absence of illness or injury, because one is beyond our control, right? How can you prevent illness and injury throughout your life? It doesn't mean that you are that's health. But two, it will also neglect our daily habits and patterns that we put on. So it kind of like, when we see health that way, it makes us focus on perfections, way of life that making is impossible, because it's really impossible to achieve that state. So as long that we make health as an arrival, a destination that you want to go, we always live our life manipulating our life through a series of external inputs. I would say that the kind that, we feel that we actually looking into disengage with our own body, and always searching for something that will fix your body. So in other words, that I want to say that all definitions of health really states that body is the problem, and you really neglect your body in a lot of ways, or possibly hate it. So this is why I keep saying that health is actually hurting us more now than is helping us. So I want us to actually look into how we see health in all definition. We see from the outside approach. This is what I want you to try to have a different mindset about this. Understanding that the body is the problem, and your symptoms are the problem, and you're kind of like a project to work on. So in this process, right, you will be disengaged with your own body, and you go in search of all the things that you think will fix you. So we would do things like calorie restrictions. We would eliminate macronutrients, thinking that we would get fat if we eat. You jump into all this, um, uh, you know, popular diets. You get obsessed with scale. You keep trying for a better exercise program, always looking for supplements or anything that you hear that you think, because you heard that it's helping someone, and you think that it's gonna work for you, and you constantly repeating in your mind as if you are the problem. But here's the thing: how can your body, because your body cannot be the problem and be the saver or the hero at the same time, right? Because your body is designed to heal, but if it constantly becomes a problem, how are you going to ever get well? And here's the thing: when we so fixated in our mind, with the mindset of what you believe, it sometimes can be your story. And you see this in the world of body fat, because some people, right, they have just been told themselves, right, that they are fat for so long, and their body actually believes it and just maintain a level of fat, because that what is the body is thinking. And we are living based on what we think and what we believe. So as long that we believe that our body is the problem, we would never seek, or we will probably never see the solution, because we are so fixated of like so consumed trying to find solution for that problems. And it's also part actually, even though it can be a negative impact, but it can be also a part of your survival response. So if we are living in this destination, we kind of like swirling ourselves in negative space of always trying to look for something to fix your body. Does it make sense or not? Let me just check the chat box. Am I going too fast? Does it make sense at this point of time what I'm saying? Yep. So, okay. So that's because I want you to understand your body is not the problem. Your body is the solutions. You want to stop treating your body as a project, and this will change things. Maybe not in massive way, maybe not immediately, but uh, it's not that you want to say, you're gonna be thinking like, okay, I'm not going to think about what I'm gonna eat. But what I want you to think is, I want you to change, like, how should we focus on how we can actually feed our body? How can we move our body? And how all these things we are going to talk in this workshop, right? How are we going to approach them? You know, so what I'm trying to say is like, you could be eating the best diet in the world, but if you have a negative view of the food, your body is going to do completely different thing with it than if you have a positive view of the food. So we have to come back and recognize your approach, your desire, your motivations, the heart behind it, because how is it deciding how your body is going to decide what to do with the things that you are providing. So we have to be clear, health is not just an external inputs. You can't hack yourself into a healthier body without understanding what is actually happening inside your body. So that means that we need to come at health uh, from an inside out approach rather than outside in. So that means we need to recognize and pay attention to our body. We need to try to understand it. So we try to understand symptoms, we respect it, and always remember that health is not a place for perfection. It's an action for you to do every single day. It's an action to create feeling, because health is mostly a feeling, if you agree with me, because it's always about you know feeling energized, feeling uh, feeling vibrant, feeling thriving. So health really is actually a feeling, and action that we take, that happens when you learn how to feel your body. And this inside out approach also shows most of the time what your body is needing to change, the condition of the body plus consistency, and come back to just basic lifestyle practices. You know, seriously, nothing fancy, because it shouldn't cost a thing to get healthy. We have everything we need to thrive, to be honest. And if you think about it, right, that's one of God's greatest gift to every human being. It's like, we don't have to be rich, we don't have to be wealthy, we don't have to live in certain place or country or be a certain race to be healthy. Health is available to everyone, to all of us. And what it takes to get there are basically basic lifestyle practices. Most root causes of disease, even hormonal imbalance, autoimmunity, are oftentimes just based on lack of lifestyle deficiency, because because that includes providing sleep, nourishing food, movement with right mindset, your healthy relationship, and your passion. But again, takes understanding your body and recognizing what is your body going through and what areas are actually taking the energy and also supplying the energy. And you got to think about what areas is threatening your safety and what areas are bringing you safety. Because if we are aware of what your body is responding to different thing, we can start to change the conditions of your body. So basically, this is really what we are going to do. um, it shouldn't be difficult. Now, it shouldn't cost a thing, and people always think health is so expensive, but actually, the basic stuff is free, and is the most difficult things for people to do because everyone is looking for fancy stuff. Everyone is looking for big stuff, like I don't know, cold plunging or things like uh, infrared sauna, things like that. But what I'm saying here is, I'm not saying that we shouldn't use any biohacking tools. Of course, you need support in certain areas, but it's just I want to be clear here that it's not necessary in order to achieve health, because it really comes back to, if we are not doing the basic things first and you don't have your foundation right, we shouldn't expect any of other fancy tools to actually help you, because we can't just get the basic down, right? So like I said, basic stuff is the most, um, I would say, things that people don't really pay attention to. People think is something that is not important to achieve health, but in actual fact, it does. Now, I'm gonna talk a little bit about energy, because this is so important for our biology, because energy is actually single-handedly, that is keeping you alive. We need to understand, um, energy is a big huge thing to make sure that your body function. It's not just to make you feel full, to make you feel satisfied once you're eating. You have to understand that getting energy from your food is so crucial, in the sense that, let me give you an example. It's not your heart that is actually beating. It's actually the energy that allow the hearts to beat that is making you alive. So the goal with energy is that we need to have all the energy we need. It just need to be expanded. It needs to open out. We need to have like a flow, big flow of energy, abundant of energy, because this energy is going to allow every single processes inside your body to work. This is what it means by thriving or living your life. Because when we talk about getting, energy, women are scared. Midlife women are scared to eat, because all the thing in their mind, they thought about, I'm gonna gain weight. I'm just not gonna eat this much, because this is gonna make me, pile up fast. This is gonna make me, gain weight, and I'm gonna look, bulky and stuff. But it's not. It's not just crucial to have energy to meet your basic functions, which is where a lot of people actually live, having enough energy to deal with. Is actually, we need to make sure that we have enough energy to deal with whatever life is throwing back at us. We need to make sure that we have resiliency. And this is what I want midlife women to develop, not just seeing health as a number on the scale. Is basically to create strength and resiliency to live your life. So not just for the good moments, and same goes with the hard moments, to go, about your day, uh, your life, without the world impacting us or stealing our energy in the negative way. So when we are in survival, that happens so quickly. So we can just be in the situation where we are constantly leaking your energy, and everything can feel overwhelming, and it's easy to see things negatively. So, but you have to understand that's not our design. Our design is actually to expand in the world, to be abundant in this world, to have like abundance of energy, overflowing, vibrant, and healthy. But when you start supplying your body with energy, you can actually build a better structure, which we need in midlife. What I mean by a better structure is the build and the makeup of your physical structure, which also will change the way you look, which is why a lot of our diets don't really work in long term, because uh, it doesn't change the way people look, because it's actually breaking down the structure rather than producing a healthier structure. And so we need to actually supply energy, add energy, and rather than taking it away. And in the process of that, we build a better structure. We're also going to produce more energy, generate more energy. If you supply your body with nutrients, with movement, with sleep patterns, this is all energy. This is all supporting energy production. Then you can start building muscle mass rather than you breaking it down. But and when you add things to your life like build muscle is actually metabolically active. So you're gonna help generate more energy, and that's gonna help to build more of your hormones, build a better brain cells. That's gonna help you basically build a better structure. At the end of the day, more energy, more structure, the healthier your structure gets, the more resilient your body can become. And so again, you are not going to be affected by what is happening in your life. So we need to touch base a little, based on stress, because stress and energy is always kind of like interconnected. So most of us are not living in a thriving state. In fact, I think most of us, as our body actually reach to this stage of life, there's a lot of us actually stuck in the stress response. We kind of like, it can also be kind of like addictive, right? An addiction of the stress response, because it gives you a big hit of energy. So it's like an high and lows is not very consistent, but because sometimes because the stress come and go. But to some women or to some people, they can actually feel addicted to that. And and mostly I think that they don't really understand that there is calmness even in an excited energy state of thriving. So stress can be kind of like, it feels like as good as it gets, right? Um, it's like how the world perceives stress. It's like if you're not stressed, you're not living in this world. It's just very normal for people to feel stress. But stress puts a lot of burden on the body. I want you to see stress uh, not just as part of your life, but how is it impacting your life, because it will actually weigh the body down. It's If I would to summarize stress, how the impact of stress on your body is like creating a hose that is seeping out your energy, seeping out all the nutrients that your body needs. So stress does not only decrease your energy, it steals and seals your energy at the same time. And it takes more nutrients in order to actually process that state stress. So it's kind of like depleting yourself so much faster than a thriving state. So in the process, it's burdening your body, and you will feel things like lack of energy, you can get overwhelmed, you can become sluggish. So this is generally a place where symptoms can get a bigger issues. You can start noticing things like maybe your period is off, you having a mood swings like crazy, you're probably not sleeping well, anxiety can kicks in, um, your bowel movement can be irregular, you don't seems to get hungry, and when you eat, probably you feel that you're not digesting food. And what it means, right, you start to actually notice your body more and more of a problems that happens along the way, and it started to actually show up, and mostly not in a good way. So this is the signs that your body is actually compensating. So when they start to compensate, it needs to maintain a certain body function. So it would tend to shut off unnecessary function in the thriving state. So it can actually shut down things like libido. It can shut down things like digestion. It can also shift your brain's wave. So it's like, and also, right, that can makes you see the world in a smaller way. So your world getting smaller, you can't see things in a bigger picture. So over time, right, when we stuck in the stress response for too long, we actually move into a surviving body, which is the body literally just trying to survive. And this can be us in midlife. At all costs is trying to store, hoard, and conserve the energy, which happens to be in the form of body fat. So, body fat is incredibly protective to our survival response because okay, a lot of us actually think of body fat as a part of like because I'm eating a lot of fatty foods, a lot of processed food, but we never thought that body fat is actually is your survival response and it's stored in the form of energy. So it's actually like helping your body to protect from what is perceived from the outside world, maybe as a scary world. Your body job is to protect for your survival at all costs. And again, it will shut down the unnecessary functions of survival. Usually is in the form of digestions and reproduction, meaning they stop producing hormones. So when you stop producing hormones, there where you can actually see where your cycle becomes irregular. It's affecting women more than ever. So not to mention, it steals the energy at the same time. So this tend to be people look to be, tend to be a bit more moodier, can see the world in negative way, and see the world like it's very black and white. And usually they see like there's not of color in their life, there's not flexibility, they have more rigid and control in their life, they're more in isolation and not independence, more independence, meaning they want to isolate themselves more. So you cannot see that the world is going that way, right? You can see a lot of people are going in that sense, in that direction, but at the end of the day it leads to disease, it can lead to burnout, it can lead to more weight gained. I've talked about this in my past metabolism workshop, actually, the energy idea. But I think this is essentially what is important that you need to understand what happens to your body, especially when you are in the state of having high energy and the state of having low energy. So basically, when you are in the low energy, your metabolism would actually down regulate, would slows down based on the energy that you have, and it will determine what your body does with the available energy. And versus in the very high state of energy, your body is going to have free energy, happy cells, you feel vibrant, happy hormones, strong immunity. And like all the energy that you need, and more, not only to just maintain the healthy life function, but really you need energy to thrive. In other hand, right, when you're actually in the low state of energy, you will start to conserve, you will start to hoard and to store the energy in case your body sees there is a deprived in energy production. So that can lead to more stress hormones, um, more fat cells build up in case that you might not eat in the future. So this is really where you would develop a certain level of body fats. So and I understand there will be a time that we a place, and that we all are so fixated about being skinny, right? We can really fantasize about it, how we can really be, in a very in teen weight. Um, but what we need to understand, right? There is a healthy amount of weight, but especially for women that should carry in the form of body fat. it's kind of like needed for hormone protection, hormone, because it's protective mechanism, because it's needed for reproduction. But what we don't want is the excess body weight. That's not always going to be a good thing, because it's going to shift your hormones, it's going to shift your mind. um, it can also shift a lot of body function, but your body will not, meaning it doesn't mean that when you have certain levels of body fat, it doesn't mean that you are not healthy. But it's just that what we need to think about is why your body is piling up on fats just to keep you alive, just to keep you healthy. But why, in the sense that it's piling up, what kind of like conditions that making it increasing, probably that we need to look into other factors, that what is causing it. So when we talk about body fat, right, there's a lot of times that people struggle to lose weight. And if and it's only happening if you the only way for us to reduce and also work on reducing your body fat is you need to supply your body with the necessary energy, with the right amount of safety, so that your body doesn't switch on the button of storing, hoarding, and conserve. Body fat is always safe. It never does anything without a reason. So like your body will never do anything without a reason. So if you have body fat on your body, there's a reason why your body did that. So it put that on for a reason, understanding why your body is responding this way, and what does it need to change that conditions of your body. So we need to be also realistic about what healthy weight is. Of course, in this midlife, because of the changes and fluctuations of progesterone and estrogen that is happening now, especially when you reach 35 to before your menopause, there will be an increase of body fat, which can be totally normal. But it's just what we want to watch is so that it doesn't be excessively high, that it can be detrimental to our health. So if you want to get rid of body fat, we have to stop giving it a purpose to stay. So we have to stop making your body feels unsafe, that it needs a layer of protection to keep you safe. Also just or probably in the state of you without enough energy. So again, your diet might work for a little while, calorie restriction, macronutrient changes. I'm not eating carbs, I'm just eating a little bit of carbs. So in long term, we have to recognize this, whether it is safe for your body. Because if it's not safe, your body will always rebound your weight, and you will regain it back. And every time your body regains weight, it gets harder and harder to lose. It's like your body don't trust you. I don't know. So am I going to store? Am I going to keep it? I'm going to let it go? Just your body kind of confused at this stage. So the only way to get rid of excess fat is by managing your energy levels. Does not mean by micromanaging your diet, but it just mean recognizing the food and the nutrients that you need. So we need to also understand, in the state of energy fillers and energy drains. I will talk about it in more details shortly, but I think that it starts to recognizing where is your energy level. I wanted you to take a minute and think about this. Are you in survival mode? Are you overwhelmed? Do you feel like you are storing weight and you have inability to get rid of it? Do you feel that you overly negative, have anxious thoughts? Does your body feel like maybe in like a freeze mode, fight and flight all the time? Do you feel constantly stressed and your body basically be living in a survival state or possibly low energy? So this is what I want to, I find it this is really interesting slides that I want to share, because let's just imagine us, we are all in this stress state, which is fluctuating state. We are maybe not so much in survival mode yet. Maybe your body is a little bit like a burden, but it's just you feel a little bit run down, um, but you don't have all the symptoms as yet, and um, it's just not as bad as in the survival state. But what I want you to know, even in that state, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be aware, because we ultimately want to get into a thriving state where we are more relaxed, like we want to be efficient, energized, healthy, and positive. So it's like we want to be in the state of resilience. So, and also in the state that we can handle the weight of the world and not be burdened by what is really affecting us. But in order to recognize that, right, we need to understand the goal of energy, because energy is always in motion. Thriving is going back and forth, is going to be the movement throughout your day, right? So I wanted to think about this. Like you wake up in the morning, you have energy, right? You go to work, you do things, you live your life, you burn the energy, you go to the gym and stuff. Uh, and then you'll probably be ready for bed by the end of the day. So that's actually a perfect example of a push and pull of energy. Is always in motion and is always working to achieve balance. And left, you know, and it doesn't mean at this state, right, we can't stress our body, because in fact, stress can also mean a good thing. We have to handle stress because we need stress to change the body. Because in order to create change in the body, uh, we need a little bit of stress. So, like for example, working out, diet changes, work on life changes, all that things can be really great for the body. But when it becomes a problem, the problem happens when we live there for a prolonged period of time without rebalancing ourselves. Maybe we are exercising non-stop, there's no rest. We are eating certain food, like probably lack of carbs, because we are afraid that it's gonna increase our weight. And this is where we never rebalance yourself without pulling back by nourishing or refeeding on the other side. So this is actually start to move into more of survival mode. So it's frequent and prolonged bout of stress that are the problem. So if we keep burdening our body without shoveling off all these burdens, by not refueling, by not refilling, we get into the state of survival. And the thing is, your body is going to swing back to the opposite side to the same degree that you push it to work. So often, right, in survival, you will go to the other side where you feel burnout, where you have symptoms when you are increasing weight. So this is like a law in physics, right? For every action, I don't know whether you have heard this, but for every action, there is always an equal and opposite reaction. And the thing is, the goal is not basically not to work or don't challenge your body, but what is we need all that. We need stress to just challenge the body in a certain way, but you also have to rebalance it with nourishing on the other side, which this is totally what we are not good at. We don't do this. We push ourselves to a certain extent until we cannot push anymore. When we reach into survival, this is where we are looking for solution. This is what is happening for for us human, because humans are extreme. We are extreme, right? We are like, the more undernourished we are, the more extreme you will become, and then it become more restrictive your body become more restrictive and less energy, and your world gets smaller, and the more control that you're trying to maintain. The thing is, we have to understand that we want to expand, not constrict, which means that we have to start seeing life is always a movement. Recognizing you're starting to pull yourself, if you're actually pulling yourself too far from one side, maybe on certain direction, you want to learn how to regain and pull your body back so that you can regain and balance the conditions of your body. And I also want to bring this up, one of the conventional truths that I want to talk about, um, that I want to clear some myth that um, to understand that we can actually use stress for good. Safety is not about avoiding stress; it's about using it. But what your body does with stress is based on your perceptions and the resources it has available. So what I'm trying to tell you is we should push our body. We are capable of engaging of hard things is necessary. We need to do that. Your body can thrive. Um, but again, it's a push and pull. It's a back and forth. Stress is always going to be a problem if we live consistently without rebalancing that. We just live in a stress that I just want to be clear, right? Stress is not bad at all the time. It's like if you are in the state of I want to create a stress-free lifestyle, maybe that you want to live um, life without stress. That's not possible because most of our stress are self-created. Bad stress we live in is all self-created stress. In our mindset, like calorie restrictions, the way we are trying to live our life, um, or working that we need to work because that's our job. We need to be working 60 hours a week. Yeah, we could do something like that, and then but how is that impacting you? But it's just in a way that it doesn't pull yourself back to rebalance. It's just creating more stress. So I want you to stop blaming stress. Try to use stress in a better way. So the second one that I want to talk about is about your symptoms. The we kind of talk like your body, your symptoms are not the problem. They are communication networks. They are your signals. They are trying to get your attention. So it's like they're trying to tell you, hey, I need some help. Conditions, your body conditions are not great. This is just a cry for help. I want you to stop worrying about them and start to understand them. Maybe recognize what your body is looking for in it, what kind of condition, what kind of situation that you can create in order to help this situation. You know, the goal is not to live in the symptoms, not to attach them as your story, but is use them to actually to create a better conditions for your body. And again, we're coming back to safety again. Safety is always a priority. We cannot neglect safety at all costs because it's essential for your body. We cannot get well and lose weight in unsafe environment. And often again, it doesn't mean that your external environment, if you're living in unspaced external environment, your body has a great mechanism to prevent pain, escape pain. But most of it, we are lack of safety is all self-created. So I want to be clear with this. We have to stop self-creating a lack of safety inside our body. Meaning we have to be aware about the thoughts that we are creating in our mind. What kind are we speaking over ourselves? What are we doing to nourish our body? How are we working out? How is the environment that we are working in? What can we do to help and supply more safety to the body? And most often, safety is always a perceptions built on what you provide. So now that we understand safety, there is three big place. If I can just run through this very quickly, in the safety of your body. This is your life. That is your lifestyle. You know, how you live your life is always indicating your biology, whether it's safe, unsafe, your relationship, your energy levels. And we see this from a hormonal hierarchy point of view, as you can see in the screen. We show that most of the problems, I really don't want to say it's a problem, but the way your body is going to function is always based on some big players in your master hormones. So your master hormones, oxytocin, insulin, cortisol, they're all going to determine the next layer of your hormones and finally to your sex hormones. So we are like always blaming our sex hormones for everything, but the root cause is always come back to irregulation or dysregulations of your master hormones. So if you can understand this, right? Because your three master hormones are influenced and by oxytocin, by connecting hormones, your relationship, um, your passion is all influenced by oxytocin. Insulin is your energy hormones, and cortisol is your stress hormones. So by managing your lifestyle, uh, is all about managing your lifestyle. So we have to go back and see what kind of lifestyle that you have, what kind of relationship that you have, and what energy level that you have usually are the biggest indicator of your overall health, because of the master hormones are detecting almost every aspect of your biological function inside the body. So really, it's about shifting your view from fixing to feeling. We are not capable of fixing ourselves. Broken things can't fix broken things, but we can feel ourselves, right? We can refuel, we can feeling, and we attempting to fix yourself is gonna be a form of stress, because this is what I want you to have, a change of mind where feeling comes back by filling up the basics, comes back to deep sleep, come back to nourishing food, come back to moving your body, your mindset, your relationship with others, yourself, and even God. And again, your passion and your purpose. So all this matter to a degree which your body is going to be feel, right? They are feeling you. The job is not to fix you. I think if we start to shift that, if we start to get away from trying to fix ourselves and see the world and everything that we interact with it, right? Really working on behalf of us to heal us, and we can start paying attention to more presence and recognize health is here, is how I'm interacting and be influenced by life, and how I can use it to better my life. Does it make sense or not? I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. So let's take some questions if you have that you want to ask me. Anyone has any questions? Okay. All right. Now, if not, I would actually, yeah. Okay. So, what do we really know what your body needs? So, usually it's feeling, because sometimes when we go deeper, then we start to see what we really need. But basically, we need to be able to fulfill the basic function first. So when you fulfill your basic function, and can you see, and does anything improve in the state of you making those changes? So for example, maybe having let me share the screen here. Hold on a minute. Okay. I'm just going to share some screen here. I have some slides and I want to show you. Yeah. So basically, if you are feeling the basic needs that you need, basically what I'm talking about, better sleep, if you have a better connection with everyone around you, basically handling nourishing, eating nourished food, do you see that what is changing in your body? Do you have all the symptoms in place? Do you have a strong hair and nails? Do you have great digestion? Do you have great energy throughout the day? Do you have 1 to 3 bowel movements daily? Are you free from any cycles of, related to your PMS? Do you have a healthy weight? How strong is your immune system? What is your body temperature? All these things, right? If you actually meeting all the symptoms and it's all doing well, basically you are fulfilling what your body needs. So if not, right, if not, what if I'm meeting 70%? So if you're meeting 70%, then evaluate again. How are you feeling at 70%? Are you feeling great? Can we, this is what I, you see, when we are meeting, when we are actually reaching at 70% and we evaluate and see where we are, if things are getting worse, then meaning we need to tweak with something. As I will get back to you with that tips. Um, but if you're at 70%, right, and you're feeling like shit, and you're feeling that your life is all over, my weight is all over, I'm not sleeping well and stuff, meaning you have to go back to fill in your basic needs first. Basically looking at making sure that you're eating at your macros, make sure that you're sleeping well and stuff. But if you're not at 70% and you're actually feeling great, then you're not feeling great, then we probably need to look at, if you're doing all the basics, but at 70% you're feeling like shit, we probably need to look at specific things. For example, that I was actually looking into sharing at the end of the workshop is maybe we need to start looking at supporting maybe liver, for example. So any tips for me to gain weight? I can't hit my calories. Carb, especially protein and fat, are not hard. Okay, do you know how much are you supposed to be eating? So if you know how much is your macros, then see how much you're supposed to eat your carbs. Fueling your body with a lot of carbs in one meal is just hard. I suggest that whatever numbers that you're supposed to meet based on your BMR, spread it out into 3 or 4 meals, because as you are in the small scale of your body is in a small scale, the focus should be actually for you to eat more so that it can fuel building muscles for you. So that's supposed to be your goal. So in order to do that, right, so you got to look into how much your macros that you're eating, how much you should be eating. Maybe with the rate of exercise that you're doing, maybe you're eating 1,700 calories. Probably you need to eat, I don't know, 120, 140, 2002. How much you're supposed to eat for your carbs? 130 or 250? That's a lot. Maybe try to go, that is actually more on muscle building or maintenance. That's more on muscle building or maintenance. Maintenance, but I'm losing it. Okay, you are losing it. One thing for sure that we are, when we are in perimenopause, we would lose about 10% of losing muscle mass every year because of perimenopause. You can see it's a struggle. When you go to the gym, you build, and then probably another week you lose it. But to maintain it at a good amount of you probably is harder to build like in the drastic amount, but what you can do is to maintain. So to maintain, if you have to eat 250 grams of carbs, you try to divide into 3 or 4 meals in a day, because it's so hard to eat like 200 carbs in one meal. So it's not possible, it's not doable. In fact, try to actually spread it out in 4 meals or 5 meals for you, to just make sure that you cover that 250 grams of carbs. And you need to be doing that every single day for at least minimum of 3 months, because your body is so used of you under eating. And that's why you actually find it is difficult to eat in high amount of um, yes, because that's why you struggle to actually eat in that amount, because maybe when you eat a little bit more you feel like I'm gonna puke. This is what you're not used to, and your body again adapt to the available energy that you've been been providing all these years. It could be that you've been skinny probably for the past 10-15 years, and if you expect that eating for 6 months like that would change the cycle, it will not. It can take longer than that. So you need to get your body to used to you eating more. Like maybe you can start maybe 150 grams. Make sure that you meet 150 grams of carbs every single day. So you can spread it maybe 50 every meal. Once you get hold of that, your body is so comfortable with that, and you don't feel puking, you feel good, then you add, maybe I'm going to eat 180. So don't eat and try to rush to get to 50, because eating 2,200 for you is hard. You've been skinny maybe all your life. So this is what we are trying. Yeah, just feel full. Yeah, and the you have to understand, at this rate of our midlife, right, our organs are all shrinking. Okay, even your gut is also shrinking. Yep. So when it shrink, if you want to push to eat that kind of amount of calories, is a lot, and it takes time to expand again. And expansions of your gut probably takes maybe a year or two to get used to that. But keep on consistency of eating that way. Maybe start with 150, maybe, and then increase to 180, and then maybe increase to 200. Same goes with protein. Yep. So what I want to share with you, this one is actually, give me a second. Um, what I want to share is actually what I have. Um, this is for Diana, who asked, right? What if you have tried everything and then nothing seems to be working? Basically, you have tried having your foundation, sleeping well. You actually, watch what you're eating a lot of nourishing food. You feed your energy, eating enough and stuff. And what if it's not helping, and you can see that your body is still struggling? So this is where we will push us, we will actually look into something else to push, or maybe like a booster to help you out. And we have to understand, when our hormones, especially midlife, the changes, the fluctuations of, it won't reduce, but it will fluctuate first before it stops. So estrogen will decline during perimenopause, and your body definitely gonna face a lot of challenges in the body, not just muscle mass, but also in terms of you processing fats and protein. This is why also a lot of women in the 40s and 50s are actually struggling with unexplained weight gain, maybe constant fatigue and unpredictable hormonal shifts. So we can actually we can actually look into liver health. So when it comes to liver health, right, because of the fluctuations, that actually causes us to actually have more symptoms in our body. Sometimes the foundation might not be enough. So this is where we need to boost our liver to help us out. So this is where I'm actually introducing my new online webinar. It's actually how we can target your liver for midlife health. So basically, what I want you to understand, right, especially when we reach menopause, maybe you have 5 more years, maybe you have 10 more years, your liver would actually change in volume by up to 40% when you reach menopause. So this is going to be a problem for us in managing our excess toxins, meaning usually estrogen and fat storage can happen way more when we reach to that age. So this is where we can use things that I'm going to teach you in uh, this workshop is actually to help you what we can do. There's 13 steps that we can do in this workshop that we can actually help to boost our liver to see some changes. But this is only can happen if you have your foundation set. So this course basically would have one online webinar, which is also about 90 minutes, but you would have also a recorded lectures to understand more on detoxifications system that we have. And you will also have a relevant handouts and all reading materials for this. So I'm planning for this course is actually to be next month on the 29th on at 11 o'clock, which the fees is 130. But for today, I'm actually opening up just for y'all to sign up within this 30 minutes to enjoy a price of 99. So this is where you can use the 13 steps that I'm going to teach you to boost whatever symptoms that you have in your midlife, usually in the form of hormonal chaos, because this is where at this age, right, in perimenopause, at this age, your detoxification is all clogged out. So your liver is always overworked all these years trying to filter out every single toxin that comes in the body. And also at this stage with the fluctuations of the estrogen, liver is having a lot of load and is actually very stressed out. So sometimes, right, you're not losing weight because your liver is just not doing what they're supposed to do. So you can scan the barcode here if you want to sign up to just get this price. If not, it will be a normal price. So anyone else has a question that you want to ask me? Yeah. So that 13 steps, right, doesn't really involve certain supplements, but basically, yeah, it will have one or two supplement that is needed to boost the liver. But what is important to understand the phase of your detoxification process, what it needs for phase, because there is two phase of your liver detox where it needs certain nutrients and certain vitamins so that that first process can happen. Does this? Yes. Yes, it will include a liver detox, but it's not like you're not going to eat. You definitely going to eat. But this is to teach you to understand the functions of your liver and why it becomes sluggish and how what your liver needs to get the process up and running again in midlife. So this is what this workshop is all about. So how we can use liver, boost it up so that we can get reductions of symptoms, especially reducing body fats, processing protein so that you can get stronger in your muscles. This is also part of the reason because your liver can be sluggish and you can actually go to the gym and build muscles, but you're not seeing results. Okay. Any other question that you have, you can actually put in the chat box and before we end this workshop. Yes, this will be good for you actually. That 13 steps is really very powerful based on the research that I gathered around, and this is very, very helpful, especially for me. This workshop is actually planned for midlife. How to support liver at this age so that you can start seeing results. Because a basic stuff in basic stuff in let me just show you this. Yeah, so basic stuff like changing your deep sleep, like your mindset, your movement, your relationship, and having passion. This is all foundation. Sometimes your body at this stage, probably you need more than a foundation to get results. This is where that people are struggling, women are struggling in midlife because they try probably calorie restriction, not eating it, not eating enough. They think that they can actually take certain products to help them lose weight, but they don't understand how is that impacting them negatively, because you don't want to be actually losing weight and stuff and losing your muscle mass at this age. You also don't want to be losing weight and your hormone is all over and you're not sleeping well to just look good from the outside, right? But inside your body is actually struggling. So this is the time in midlife, right? How we can feel our body refuel, filling in so that you build a strong structure. It's no longer about what can you take it out, it's what you can put in. So this is actually really a totally different mindset. We need to just change the way we hear things, the way we see things, because when we see things in the social media, it's what they want us to see, and it's not always what is actually working. Any more questions that y'all have? Okay. All right. I hope that this workshop um, shed some light, that you want to so that you can see things differently. It's not about restriction. It's always about expansion. How can you live more today and at this present moment? You know, and what I want you to actually start seeing that how can you start feeling your body with a lot of good things that is going to benefit you through the years, because this is the state of you need to thrive in midlife, in perimenopause, so that you can be strong in your menopause. That should be your end game. You don't want to be in menopause where you have to depend on people for any support, even to walk, even to wear your clothes, or even your bras. This is where you want to be strong and resilient, and it takes action to do that, because we cannot just look into at this current state what I want to achieve. Skinny, losing weight is no doesn't mean that you are healthy, because that can means, right, you are taking off a lot of things from inside the body, not having a lot of nutrients, not having a lot of energy, which can be detrimental, and it can actually affect you. Maybe not now, it can actually definitely affect you in menopause. So that's what I'm trying to create here, trying to get women to realize that we need to change our mindset, we need to change everything around us, because if it's working, we won't be seeing people promoting things to for weight loss. You won't see things for people to this product is coming out, that product is coming out, and people keep trying and looking and trying until like they just feel burnout and feel alone. So I hope this workshop can did shed some light for you. So again, if you have question, you always can reach me through my Instagram or WhatsApp me. uh, Thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget, if you want to sign up for the Liver Love, that will be very beneficial for your midlife journey. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll send the recording one day after this when it's ready, and I will just email all of you. Thank you again for joining.